Knight for immortality, not for a worm without demons.
He paused and looked at each of them in turn. Freya, who was still reading her score but whose hand had gone very still on the page. Aizu, who won't stop sharpening and was holding his axe like it weighed nothing. Haita, his pen was frozen midward in his journal. And Lab Princess, who was sitting on her baggy folded pike with tears already foaming because she knew what came after this perfect moment and they did not.
Hemori smiled.
Shall we go save the world?
Nobody moved, not because he did not want to, but because the moment was too complete to break.
Then Aizen stood, shouldered his axe, and said,
Yes! That one word carried more weight than Himi's entire speech. Haika closed his journal and tucked his head behind his ear. Frieren rolled her scrolls and stored them with movements that looked casual but were precise enough to preserve ancient documents through a battle. Black Princess finally won the war against the pack by sitting on it until it compressed into submission. The fire went out. The camp disappeared as if it had never been. And 5 people began walking through the castle that had broken armies. The march took 4 hours. 4 hours of flat gray terrain, where nothing grew, and even the wind seemed reluctant to visit. Lab Princess walked beside Haita, who was quietly documenting everything in his journal while walking, when she had not known was possible until she saw him do it for the 3rd time that morning.
How are you writing?
She asked. Cool.
He showed her the page.
네, 3642 fine apples, Ipe Haricake, Kuroki, Ariket Pafrairen, which means excellent for anyone else. Hemu gave speech. Number 412, attendance. 4 humans and 1 fire. Widow, still ash.
Life Princess nodded. You have been keeping count of his speeches?
Haita said.
3は must bear weakness.
Lab Princess fell into step with Freyan, who was walking at the reel with an expression of total concentration.
You are Kopoi.
落日です。Frieren said.
I have been preparing for talk years. What I am doing now is reviewing. There is a difference.
She paused.
The Demon King's magic, Rat's own principles, the Pidite, human magical day. Most Moto mages cannot counter it, because they like the reference framework. I have the framework.
She looked out Light Princess.
The advantage of leading a very long time is that eventually you have seen everything at least twice.
Black Princess said, this.
Freya blinked.
You see everyone leave at least twice too.
Then she worked faster, and the conversation was over.
An hour from the gates, they passed the remnants of previous attempts.
Armor scattered across the gray fields, swords rusted into the ground like iron flowers, the elational banner still flying from a boy driven into the earth, its kingdoms crushed, breached by weather and time. La Princess counted 7 different banners. 7 kingdoms had sent their best, and all their best had left was colored cloth. Hime did not slow down, did not look at the fallen equipment. He kept his eyes on the gates and his pace steady and measured.
If you look down, you stumble.
He said.
If you look back, you stop. Forwards is the only direction no matters today.
The castle gates were 30 feet tall and made of something that was not quite metal and not quite stone. Obsidian fused with iron and threaded with veins of deep red that pulsed like slow heartbeats.
Up close, the polish of the walls showed reflections that were not quite right. Black Princess saw her own face, but the expression was different, sadder, or maybe older, as if the castle showed you not who you were, but who you would become. Shiritoe Keki. Kimo leaped on his reflection and straightened his collar.
Even my reflection was handsome.
He says, I'm so sad.
Your reflection looks tired.
Himo said.
Tired and handsome are not mutually exclusive.
The gates were still open.
The same vast invitation they had seen from miles away.
The interior was visible. A brand entrance wall looked by floating arcs of blood red light. The floor was polished stone in an intricate geometric pattern that seemed to shift when you are not looking directly at it. Free stony notation,
No traps on the entrance itself.
she said.
She wants us inside. Every trap will be ahead of us, never behind. He designed this as a one-way journey.
Himyu drew his sword. The metallic ring echoed off the obsidian walls like a bell announcing their arrival.
Then it is rude to keep him waiting.
He stepped through the gates first because Hima always went first.
The entrance hall was enormous, easily the size of a cathedral.
The scene lost in darkness above the range of the floating lights.
Their footsteps echoed in patterns that did not match their pace, as if the hall was adding phantom steps to make them feel outnumbered.
Pillars of twisty obsidian lined both sides, and between them stood statues not of demons but of humans. Heroes who had come before, carved in obsidian with perfect detail, their faces frozen in expressions of determination that had not saved them. La Princess recognized none of them, but Friorin stopped at one.
Commander Wilk,
She said quietly.
200 years here. Very brave. Very deaf.
The statue stared ahead with stone eyes that had once been real.
La Princess counted the statues.
27 heroes immortalized in obsidian in the Anke's Hall alone. That is either a trophy collection or a warning, she said. Himi said.
It is a tribute.
She looked at him.
He meant it.
The Demon King respects his Eternals. That is why documented. She honors the brave by remembering them.
He paused.
It is one of the reasons he is so difficult to hate. He does terrible things for reasons that are not terrible, and he respects the people who try to stop him.
La Princess said, that is the scariest thing you have ever said. Hail nodded.
I know.
A sob echoed from deeper the castle, not treasony musical. A low resonant hum that seemed to come from the walls themselves, as if the obsidian was singing.
Flaren's ears twitched.
Magical harmonics.
She said.
The castle is alive in a sense. It responds to the inhabitants' will. Right now, it is greeting us.
Haita said.
It sounds like a church organ built by someone who has heard of searches but never visited one.
The hum shifted to a slightly higher pitch, and the floating lights brightened. La Princess whispered.
Do you just get happier that we are here? Freyaru-san.
Yes. It has been very quiet for a very long time. The castle was lonely.
Someone that made everything worse. They pressed forward through the entrance hall into a corridor that branched in three directions, left, right, and down. All three paths were well lit and apparently welcoming. No cover-ups, no armorers dripping, no skull decorations.
3. School decorations.
The Demon King's castle was cleaner than most royal palaces.
Fryan pointed down.
His throne room is at the deepest point. Ori's descent.
La Princess looked at the descending staircase. It was wide and well maintained, with a handrail. Is that a handrail? She said. Eyes examined.
Good craftsmanship.
He said.
Dote Joyce. Even the handrails in the evil castle meet Aizen's quality standards.
They descended 3 flights, and the castle became stranger with every level. A corridor whose walls were made of water that flowed upward, defying gravity with casual content. A room filled entirely
Why, with floating hourglasses, thousands of them, each one measuring a different amount of time, some nearly empty and some barely started. La Princess reached for one, and Freyan stopped her.
Those are lifetimes.
She said,
Each class measures someone's remaining time.
La Princess looked at the owl rices with new horror.
Is my here? Freyan said,
No. Yours does not work like the others. Your time is not linear. Papas.
And despite everything, La Princess almost left, because even ancient metaphysical magic acknowledged her lack.
The next room stopped everyone.
It was a library, but not a dark, sinister collection of forbidden knowledge. It was warm and well-lit and organized with the care of someone who genuinely loved books. Shelves reaching to a ceiling painted with constellations, reading chairs with warm cushions, a desk covered.
インノスゲくん、カラフハンハイテ。
Fryalin walked to a shelf and pulled a book at random.
She opened it, read a page, and her expression flickered.
This is my Titison monastery.
She said,
From 400 years ago. I thought every copy was lost.
Haida found a section on divine philosophy, annotated in emojis, with respectful disagreements. The Demon King was a scholar who did his homework. Hime phoned the history session and pulled a book titled
Heroes no Norton Campaign.
He flipped through it and found his own entry. His eyebrows rose.
It says here that I am quote, 立ちに effective. If somewhat 手らつける or quote.
Aizen Rukko Ishodo.
And it says, I quote, speak royally but carry decisive authority, unquote. That is accurate.
Haita found his entry.
Krog, possessi healing. Kutemonasu. This suggests divine favor also. His fish is reportedly terrible, unquote.
Haita closed the book firmly.
The fish was fine.
La Princess searched for her name but found nothing.
She was not in any book, and for once, that felt exactly right.
Deeper still, they found a room that should not have existed. A garden underground, lit by crystals in the ceiling that mimicked sunlight so perfectly that the flowers growing in neat rows did not know.
They were beneath a mile of Arcadian. Yeah.
These were not corrupted. These were perfect roses and lilies and orchids and species. Let Princess could not name, glowing in wan soil with tiny irrigation channels cut into the stone. Friarun stayed at the entrance and did not move for a very long time. He grows flowers,
she said, and her voice was strange, flat in the way it got when something had hit her harder than she expected.
The Demon King grows flowers!
The garden had a bench, a single skull bench beside a pond where small golden fish chuckled, and beside the bench a pair of gardening gloves so worn the fingertips had gone through. Someone each this garden yekarani. Someone with hands that got dirty and gloves that wore out. Like Princess sat on the bench because her legs were tired and her heart was confused. Evil overlords were not supposed to have worn-out gardening gloves. They were supposed to sit on skull thrones and monologue about power. Himo sat next to her. He felt it too. The discomfort of fighting someone who tended roses between atrocities.
The play has not changed.
He said, Aizen found the tool rack at the garden's edge. The tools were good quality, dwarf-made, based on the joint work, old but maintained.
He examined a small pruning knife and turned it over in his hands.
Menin granat.
He said,
60 years ago, maybe.
He put it back carefully. The only time Black Princess had ever seen Aizen be careful was something that was not either a weapon or a gift for a friend. Haito knelt by a hollow bed and touched the petal.
These are Magishina Arax,
She said.
half of what grows here could save lives.
Frieren said sucking.
She just stood at the entrance with her arms at her sides, looking at a garden that should have been impossible and meant everything she was afraid it meant.
They did not linger. Himu laid them on the far side of the garden through a door that opened up to another descending staircase, the deepest one yet. The walls here were no longer polished. Raw obsidian showed through, like the castle was running out of pretense and becoming honest about what it was. A fortress built by something very old and very Weifu and Daniarom.
The humming in the walls grew louder, deeper resonance.
Black Princess could feel in her Stalin.
Prince!
We are close. One more level.
And something in her voice shifted from propulsion to acceptance, the kind of acceptance that comes right before the hardest thing you have ever done. The final staircase ended on a pair of doors, smaller than the entrance gates, but more ornate dark wood banded with silver and carved with a scene that Black Princess wanted to stare out for 10 seconds to you. Understand? Imashite? It showed a demon and a human sitting across from each other at a table, playing a board game.
Neither one was lame.
The game had no end. It just went on and on across the surface of the doors, moves and countermeaks carved into wood that was older than kingdoms.
Himeo nicked at the Tobing and said,
That is how he sees it. Not a war, a game. And we are the latest players.
Prayering said,
And like all games, it ends when someone decides to stop playing.
Hime put his hand on the door, then stopped. He turned to the group, and his face was not the sunrise smile or the heroic mask.
It was just Hamel.
A man standing in front of friends who had followed him for 10 years and never once asked why.
I need to say something before we go in.
He said. And for once, his voice was not performing.
Whatever happens in that room, I want us to know that my life's greatest achievement is not the battles we won or the people we saved. Is that all 5 of you are standing here. Health! Life. Still putting out with my speeches. 次.
He took a breath.
I love you. All of you, even Aizen, who will pretend he did not hear this.
Aizen said.
Heard it.
His voice was roughed in a way that had nothing to do with gravel. Black Princess felt the tears hit before she could stop them.
She was not even part of this story, not really.
She was a visitor, a tourist in someone else's legend. But standing here watching a hero tell his family he loved them before walking into the worst fight of their lives, she understood why the flower had brought her here. Not to help, not to change any Inky, but to witness, because some moments are too important to happen without someone who will remember them from the outside, someone who will carry them back to a world where they can echo.
She wiped her eyes.
Sorry, she said. Hemo said.
Never apologize for feeling. It means you are paying attention.
Himu pushed the doors open. They swung inward without sound.
Beyond them, the throne room waited vast and dark and humming with a power so dense, the air itself felt heavy. At the far end, a shape sat upon a throne of black stone, still and patient and radiating the particular silence of something that has been expecting you.
The Demon King raised his head, and in the blood-red light of floating orbs, his eyes found them, found all 5 of them.
La princess felt your lap state.
Time hiccuped around her, skipped one beat, and in that frozen fraction of a second, she saw the Demon King's expression, and it was not anger or cruelty or madness. It was recognition.
Welcome. Welcome.
He said, and his voice was the saddest sound she had ever heard. Act Sam, the Black Citadel, the throne room of the Demon King, was not a room. It was a cathedral of silence. The ceiling was so high, the floating lights could not reach it, only darkness above, and the walls were lined with the same mirror-polished obsidian. But here the reflections showed nothing. Not the people standing in the room. Not the furniture, just empty black glass reflecting in accents. As if the room existed in a place where mirrors had decided.
Dear, there was nothing worth showing.
The Demon King's throne was carved from a single piece of obsidian, so dark it seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. It was not ornamented, not decorated with skulls or dews or the traditional sinicores of evil royalty. It was simple, almost austere chair built by someone who had been sitting in it for a very long time and had long since stopped caring about aesthetics.
The being on the throne matched it.
Tall, angular, meat-fissured, that were almost human, but arranged with a position that no human face had ever achieved. Symmetry so perfect, it crossed into unsettling.
He wore no armor, no chrome, just plain dark robes that might have been black or might have been the same color as the throne.
It was hard to tell where one ended and the other began. His hands rested on the armrests with the stillness of someone who had not moved in years, perhaps decades.
His eyes were the only feature that betrayed what he was. Gold eyesies with vertical pupils that caught the red light and holded the eyes of something that had been looking at the world since before.
He knew it was being watched.
You are Himmelsparty.
The Demon Queen said, and his voice was not what Love Princess expected.
She had expected